For months, the Caribbean Sea has been rumbling with American fighter jets, destroyers slicing through the waters, and the largest U.S. aircraft carrier looming like a floating threat just miles from Venezuela. Washington isn't even pretending anymore. Trump openly says land strikes are much easier. The U.S. knows where the bad ones live, and that those attacks may begin very soon. Add to that an eye-watering $50 million bounty on Nicolás Maduro's head, matching America's reward for Osama bin Laden. And you have a spectacle that feels less like counter-narcotics and more like regime hunt theater. Why is Donald Trump targeting Venezuela with such ferocity, and why now? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. Venezuela says the answer is obvious: oil, power, and an old obsession with forcing Maduro out. The US claims it's narco-terrorism, that Maduro runs the cartel of the Suns, and that drug boats linked to Tren de Aragua and Sinaloa are flooding America with fentanyl-laced cocaine. Trump insists the strikes, more than 87 dead in 22 attacks so far, are part of an armed conflict with drug cartels. The truth is, Trump's Venezuela fixation isn't born from a sudden crusade against narcotics. It isn't sparked by the death count from the boat strikes, nor by some newfound concern for the Caribbean drug corridor. This is a long brewing storm, one mixing politics, oil, personal pride, geopolitical signaling, and the intoxicating spectacle of American military power. Washington's closest intelligence experts say the administration is exaggerating, overreaching, and at times inventing the threat. And yet, the Trump team doubles down, designating 8 Latin American criminal groups as foreign terrorist organizations, elevating street gangs to the same category as ISIS or Al-Qaeda, and declaring cartels unlawful combatants so that military force can be used almost without limit. Why? Because narco-terrorism is the perfect legal and political cover for something far bigger: a presidentially driven campaign to collapse the Maduro government without calling it regime change. The bounty makes that clear: $50 million, up from $15 million in 2020, then $25 million during Biden's term, now doubled again by Trump. That sets Maduro on par with the world's most hunted terrorists. Venezuela's reserves dwarf those of Saudi Arabia. Even after years of mismanagement, those reserves represent unparalleled geopolitical leverage. If Washington can shape a friendly transition, or at least destabilize a regime aligned with Russia and China, it dramatically alters the energy calculus of the hemisphere. Because this isn't just about Maduro, it's about Moscow, it's about Beijing, it's about signaling strength across the entire hemisphere. When the US sends its most advanced carrier to sit within operational reach of a Russian-backed regime, the message isn't subtle. Trump is signaling that he will not tolerate a hostile, defiant, Russian-linked, cartel-accused government to freely operate in America's backyard. The military timeline reinforces this. It's not random. It's escalating pressure step by step. Trump confirms he has given the agency authority for covert operations inside of Venezuela. He refuses to say whether the CIA is permitted to act directly against Maduro. The ambiguity is the point. The threat hangs in the air. The UN finally speaks, calling for a halt, warning of extrajudicial killings, demanding an investigation. But Washington marches ahead. Trump sees the human rights criticisms not as breaks, but as political noise. In his framing, this is war. The memo declaring cartels unlawful combatants formalizes it. Maduro understands this better than anyone. That's why he appeals to OPEC. That's why he calls Washington's actions murder and extrajudicial executions. That's why the Venezuelan legislature meets families of those killed. That's why Defense Minister Padrino Lopez declares the military stronger than ever.